Hey everybody, so we're getting ready, we're getting things set up for the Kun Pen, Idaho's, all that. We're gonna go in here. This has been here for a while from a different project that we're not doing, but still can be useful. So we're gonna go down the trail line here. It's about where that willow is. Come down, come out this way, and we'll go down the driveway. It's about the telephone pole, maybe a little bit further down into there. So had my saw back for a while from place to be fixed. I took my other blade to have it sharpened. I keep screwing it up when I do it myself. I tried all the different things. I'm not very good at it. So a couple bucks, have someone else do it. Why I'm getting my saw fixed, my other saw. All right, it cuts like a champ. It's heavy. It's an 029 Super. It's just heavy. It'll cut through a whole tree, huge trees, all these big ones you see behind me. Let's see if you can see a big one. Whatever, it'll cut through them. So, okay, it's going good, but it's too heavy. I'm lifting up, trying to get some branches up high. All right, so I'll go to my my little tiny farmhand. Is what I don't know what to call it. It's only what is this one? MS250. Yeah, it's just a MS250 right here. So, and my, oh, put the blade on. I made sure I flipped the bar. Yeah, that's what, you know, you got to do that every other sharpening. Just in a rush. Got to go. Got to get things done. I'm getting over there and it's not cutting. These guys sharpen like crap. So I think. Probably guessed by now. Yeah. It's on backwards. Hey, dumb. Mistakes happen. But at least I'm trying to cut through a small little branch and I'm like, I could use my fingernail and go through faster than this. But yeah, blades. Running the wrong way. So turn around. I didn't say I was the best at what I do. Made a mistake. But just when you're in a haste, be careful. That can happen. Or something worse. So get her done. Be careful. Be blessed. Alright, just standing here looking at my first paddock, working on the second still. Got the first post in, got the second post in way down yonder. If you can see it right there. Once I focus, there we are, that post. And that's just to draw the straight line with the wire instead of string, whatever. Then I put my other post in and, you know, functional completely. But well, it will be. So anyways, so I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, this will set up this way. Something that I've noticed that Joel Salton says, Salton, or I can't pronounce his name correctly, sorry Joe. But nonetheless, they don't charge every fence all the way through, and you shouldn't have to. Then you ground out in other places. It makes sense, right? So I'm looking at my paddock here and I'm like, okay, I'm running into this tree here. It works for now. It's a young tree. It's got a lot of movement, a little bit of breeze, a lot of movement over a little bit of time. Will end up, that line will snap. I just know that in general. So that line, I want to go to that tree, and what we'll do is be able to come down this tree here, and our line that comes from this post will go around it. As part of the fencing, we'll go around that post there. We'll connect this paddock to that post, and then we'll also run a jumper from that same hot line to the other paddock and put shutoffs, little shutoff toggle switches for each paddock So I'm not running all the time on one or all the time on the other. And as we connect our other paddocks, which will go straight through here, okay, we're gonna go straight through here, well, kind of on a curve a little bit. That's why this line's gonna curve this way. It's gonna curve. I'll be able to run the hot to the next paddock and the next paddocks, and I won't necessarily have to run all 4 paddocks at the same time, which will be very helpful. Grounding out wise, tree branches falling, pigs moving shrubs up against your line. For whatever reason, it'll just be very helpful. So that's going to be a better go at it. If you can tell, the pallets back here are standing straight up and down, giving me a little over 5 feet. In some instances more, considered to the 36 inches or 38 inches that we have on these pallets. We were going to put some sheep in here, and we only got the sheep for a short period of time, and then they're off to freezer camp. They're not part of our livestock goals right now. Very good priced. People needed them gone, so we took them in. We were going to put them here because they thought they still needed 3-4 months to grow out. No, they just happen to be small sheep, and they're full size. They're 2 years old, so there's not going to be any rush to put them in this paddock. But the groundwork is laid for later on goats, possibly. So run the pigs through first, run the goats through second, clear up some brush, and fertilize the ground, and then come back after that, see how everything looks as far as the ground goes as you're rotating. Yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Everything is going okay. Just taking a hot midday break, looking at things, reevaluating, and I still got to put up their enclosure, and I had to button up their enclosure over here too. But we're coming along at it. So yes, I do have the electric spacers. The standoffs, actually, we stand off the wood just a slight bit more, and you put a nail through there. Nails go in fairly easily into a nice wooden post, but what I'm using, not so much. We're going to use screws, but if I were to use these, and I have them, why wouldn't I use them? Because I have other areas that I want to use these, and I can use this instead. You gotta be frugal to a point. I mean, you gotta understand you only have so much money to spend so many times, and then you're broke, broke, whatever you want to call it. B does not stand for broke right now, it stands for bottom. So this is going to go on the post. This is going to be the bottom of the post, and then it's going to go up. There's going to be 3 lines, and the wire is going to go in there, each one, okay, all the way up, and they were made the same length, and I made 6 of them for the 6 posts I have. The same length, same cuts in the similar areas. We'll keep the spacing the same for the wire. And how I'm going to attach them, again, somewhat unconventional. What I've seen other people do is they'll take this spot that they cut into right here, drill a hole, and put a screw through there, and attach that to the wooden post that they've made to use something like this. And I've seen other people only make them about so big, and then you have this much space that you don't need. I'm doing a full length ones because I have plenty of chunk hose. And secondly, I'll keep the spacing even, quick and easy to do as well. So that'll just be really helpful for the outside perimeter fencing where I want it. Inside perimeter fencing is going to be set up against pallets, so may only do 1 line, and they'll know it's there. I'm actually going to tape it to not tape. I'm going to use the flag type material, the polyurethane thin plastic like stuff, and tie it around the lines. that'll help, is them seeing the line and knowing it's there. And for these lines as well, it's going to just be a visual, hey, there's that stupid line that's going to zap me again, and they'll be less likely to go get zapped by it. Because you don't want them getting zapped. If they know it's there and they respect it, you know, they'll back off. But if they don't see it, you know, to no fault their own, a shock, surprising shock of not realizing it's even there could send them through the line and onto the other side, which you don't want. So I rather them see it, accidentally bump it, oh crap, I know it's there, my bad, and they back off. On a regular basis, that's what they do now. So that's what we got. I'll show it on the post, and then we'll go kind of show you the setup a little bit too. So here we are, paddock's done. Paddock 1 is the trail between the two. Paddock number 2. And yeah, these guys are rooting up, more interested in the roots than they are the greens right now. We got them a little temporary shelter, put some sides on to keep the wind from coming through and the rain coming in, so they can stay nice and dry in there. For the most part, they'll stay dry for now, as long as there's no major storms, which we don't have any coming up, so they'll be okay. And then I gotta move their water and their feeder over. That little water there is just temporary. So far, I like these more flexible ones that I made right here. They're out of that really thin drainage pipe that goes for sinks. Thin wall. Allows it to flex without actually breaking, even though the tree's not even that diameter. So it just can flex out. It's not going to break. Over time, it's going to dry and crack, I would imagine, from sun. Out here, you don't get a lot of sun. But just from heat and sun, whatever. So that's a possibility, or a likelihood, actually, I should say. I did put pilot holes in these ones. If they were on stakes that I had put in the ground, I'd put it in there. This is a live tree. Yes, I cut a few trees. Some of them were dead already. Some of them were just overgrowth that were in the way. But where I can, I intend to save them. So all I'll do is just like electrical tape this around the tree, and it saves it from being penetrated. Scarring, sawing later if you saw through a screw. So that's the game plan. So I just put them in there. They're just temporary at the moment. I got to go make some more. But then I had the thicker ones. These will work as well, but they're just not. They're a lot stiffer. There's no as much give to them. I could use those around a bigger tree. Do a standoff when I go around a corner or something. Yeah, that's in. Sorry for the semis, but that's in the paddock number 2, and that's where we're at. And I have to put up a one of these here on this side here. We'll go around and tie that up to this pallet and go down. And I got that tree to do, and then I have another one down there, right there. It's got to get done, and a couple more stakes to put in. Just ground goes up and down. I want to bring the lower wire down a little low, lower to a certain point. But yep. And then I may end up doing more wire going up to match the height of the pallet fence, and that will be to keep goats in as we're going along. But that will probably not be electrified. Once they've touched these other wires and they're hot, the other ones will be for show. So all I'll do is just run from here to there, and of course around to the front as well, and that'll just let them know, like, hey, don't jump over this. But we're gonna get some Nigerian dwarf. We've had them in the past. They can be quite the Olympic jumpers. So we'll go as high as we can, about 4 foot. And if that doesn't cut it, they won't go far because they'll have so much food. But if that doesn't cut it, then we'll go up another foot. Hopefully we don't have to. So this is this is those things in use. Okay, so unconventional, sure. Will this eventually rot and probably have an issue? Probably. How long? I don't know. We're gonna find out. It's electrical tape, so it's made to stand heat, and it's also made to stand current. So as it's touching the wire here, not going to be an issue. And it's going to make it easy for me to readjust if I need to, or do something different. And I can just easily cut the line, pull it up, move it. Something falls on the line somewhere, tree, whatever, branch brings it down. I can easily fix it without being a couple-day project. So in a nutshell, this is what I've done. There's other ways to do it. Like I said, you can put a screw through, and on the inside, then this will stay only about halfway onto the hose itself, and it won't touch the back of the head of that screw when it goes through the wood, which is another good way to do it. Electrical tape's easy to wrap around and secure it, and no ripping, having to worry about it ripping out of the slice that I put in there, pulling up or shifting out. It kind of just like a double security that way for me. And I want to see how it works, so we'll see. So I've got all the way down there. Okay. Alright, we'll zoom in. So all the way down there, and that's just a temporary wrap around the tree. And I'm going to use hose to go around the tree as well to go to the next post, which goes that way. Okay. Same thing for down here. Okay. Just wrapped around the post. It's just a temporary getting it set up, and then it's going to go that way. And yes, I know I need to move these weeds off the bottom. I got still some twigs and branches. I want to do a good cleanup. The cleaner it starts on the bottom as far as weeds and grounding, the better you will be long term as weeds grow and things do touch it. The longer you'll be, better, put it that way. So the plan is to go out here, take some pallets from here and connect them to the end post, and then the pallets will be on the back side of the woods this way as a double security, so to speak. It will be one line that runs about 8 inches or so up from the bottom, and that'll just be a deterrent so they don't push on the pallets and try to break through the other side. They'll know that line's there. They won't mess with it. That's how their pens are set up at the moment. So that will wrap all the way around the back, the same length as this front one here, and then we will also run 3 lines down the side here on the inside of this paddock. The other paddock is going to be from where that is down, and we'll have a pathway that goes between them so we can easily access their water, their food, their pens, in and out for whatever else we may or may not need to do. And as time progresses, there's going to be 2 more paddocks on top of these 2, so there will be conjoining 2 more, so there'll be a total of 4, which will be plenty for the amount of pigs that I have, I believe. There is a lot of undergrowth under here, so we have a lot of ferns, we have a lot of plants that are growing up, smaller trees and other weeds that will give them minerals, nutrients that they need, on top of which we will still be bringing them fermented feed into their bowls on a daily basis, just not their full dietary amount, as it will help. The fermented feed will help them digest what they have and make the best of what they have inside their stomach, along with anything else that they eat and forage on as well. So until winter time, then we'll up their feed intake, we'll up the amount of fat that they have, with the amount of corn, most likely corn, that we're going to use. And I don't believe duckweed has much fat in it, so I'm not sure what the ratio is going to be still between duckweed, corn, and alfalfa. Alfalfa I know has fat, but not a whole lot. So if you can hear the semi, I apologize. So that's where we're at right now. Just getting set up. Got the line separated to, there's good spacing that I like. Just off the ground to 3 to 4 inches at the most, and then spacing from between 5 and 6 inches above that, typically eye level, and then just one more line above that. I've seen people do it with only one line. I do not trust my pigs well enough, and the pigs that I'm rotating right now will include some feeder pigs that are not Kune Coons, that are, man, they're divers. They'll dive through a line if there's a little bit of spacing. They'll jump over a line. Duroc Hampshire mix is they're a rowdy bunch. I tell you what, they are a rowdy bunch. So yeah, it's definitely going to be this at minimum for the outside line where there's no fence or pallet, I should say, and we'll go from there. All right. So a slight update. I am making a gate right here, and going around the wood should not be a big issue, as wood is not a conductor of electricity, but water is, and wood does get wet, and we'll see how that works. If not, it's an easy fix, and just throwing some rubber stuff around it. Yes, I could have done that in the first place on these, like I did those, but I didn't. So as my energy and time allows, this is what I've got. Rubber hose, metal hook, go around the loop here, just push, pull, done. Okay. And there's a little bit of slack in the line. It's, of course, it's not as tight as the rest of this line is going to be, and that's what you want, just to kind of be able to take that off of there and put it back on. This one kind of messed up on me. I'm going to leave it for now. This one was a trial, and it works, just not pretty. It doesn't have to be pretty, just got to be functional, right? So this one we're going to do really similar to the second one, and just loop the wire through, connecting around the metal hook, and then tie it down here. If I move the camera for you, and then I'll just twist it down here. It'll allow me to hook and release from here. So that is my cheap way of doing a gate, and not buying a, whatever they were, $10, $15 handle at TSC. So there's 35, 40 bucks easily right there for $0 because I have junk hose. Every little bit counts. That's $40 that can go into more feed or other infrastructure or more screws. We don't need any for a little while. I buy them by the tub, which we've always done. It's cheaper, and it's sure the heck beats having to go buy a small box of screws every so often. And we brought them pre-pandemic, so they're even cheaper now for us. But so that's that, and our goofed up way of doing the hot to this area, well, it'll work for now. We'll have to mess with it later, but I need to get these pigs moved. So we're coming down this tree. It's a popular, yeah, we don't care about poplars as much as we do other hardwoods. We want them to grow for firewood or whatever, but I wouldn't have put it on this thin tree. I had some help, and unfortunately this thin tree here is going to do a lot of swaying, so she's got a little bit of slack on that line, and it's going to need to stay there so it doesn't pull apart and rip. I've seen people use the electrical cord, insulated wire, running it from here to there, but all the comments I keep reading say, you know, electrical cords rated at what, 600 volts max. You're running 7,000 to 10,000 volts. that's something's gonna melt or catch on fire. That's what I think. So I'm not gonna do it. So that's why we ran just straight wire. And when ground wire is expensive to go under the ground and connect it that way, so we did not do that either. But yeah, that's what we have. So keep you posted. Not much longer. All that side's done. Back here is all done. From here down, nice and tight. And got an extra board log here for the angle when it goes down, so it catches the height from there to there, and then catches it straight down to here. And for the corner, I'm thinking about doing 2 pallets. I'm not sure if I want to run electrical on the inside of those pallets in that corner. If you watch Joel Salton, I don't want them afraid of every side. So the thought would be, they'll be okay right here with no electricity. Okay, these are really solid pallets too. And then I'd be able to remove this pallet and let them go from here to the next paddock that way, and eventually to the paddock and to the other paddock, right? So that's the goal for those, but we'll see what happens. That's the thought process behind it. And I got a few more pallets to put up. What we have down there, a little over halfway. Put those up, come on down. Wait for the semi to pass. So I'll use what other pallets I have here going down, heading down this way for the second paddock, and it's going to go down even further. I don't believe we're going to use, if I got the pallets there, great, we're going to use them. If I don't, we're going to just do 3 or 4 strain wire and just keep running it. I know we're doing overkill, and I'm just kind of getting tired of doing overkill, so I think we're going to stop with the pallets wherever they lay, and then continue on from there. And that's like these other paddocks. This paddock over here, and there's going to be another paddock, and I can't really see, you just see a bunch of trees, but those paddocks are going to be, except for this side, there'll be no pallets. So we'll set those up and run 3-4 wire, probably 4 wire. I don't have really an issue with the Koonie Coons, and I probably won't even get my other pigs out there, so we'll see. But yeah, that's what we have, and hopefully we'll get these babies moved soon so they can come out and get some fresh green stuff. Yeah. So here's a better close-up of one of the poles that connects the gate. So I wrapped around the pole to keep the tension on the wire, and then I put a hole on the other side of the rubber and connected the gate part, the line for the gate, to come down to this side. But I skipped over something. See it right there? Yeah. So the bottom one got stretched out from an issue we had, but the rest of them didn't. So put a spring in the middle, and they're not heavy duty springs, they're just medium grade. I just had them by chance, so that allows the tension to come on and off easier, and keep the wire taut to where I set it. And then I used a hook on the end. It was barbed wire, and I just snipped it. When I made those hooks, I used a die grinder because I was doing other stuff. So I made a hook, hooked right over. The wire obviously goes all the way through the rubber, and the electrical tape is more to just kind of keep it still as it moves back and forth for the rubber line, as I push the tension on and off to connect the fence there. So all said and done, and I went around the poles. I did it again, even though I said I wasn't going to. It's just what happens when you're running through time. So it works, it's functional. Come down to here, and on these, So on these, all I did was take a little bit of hose, put some tension on it, up or down, whatever way it needed, and actually down was most of them. And then I screwed it into the stake that I have. So it's just the screw going through there, holding it to the tree. The rubber is protecting it from the tree, or not tree, but was a tree, post, and making it a part of the fence. So come on down. I used that method. I used a few different methods, just trying to see what I like the most. And then I used this method here. Works pretty good. I didn't put tape around those, I ran out. But the electrical tape was just more or less stopping it from sliding up or down. And I put a little slit, of course, inside of there too, to a little harder to do, because if you go too far one way and on the barbed wire, you know, that stuff will touch, and you know, then you're grounded out on that spot. So that works. I used that method there. Went around the tree. This tree is dying, or it's already going to be dead. That's the only reason I screwed into this one. It's a big old hole in it. It's got a few years left on it, so otherwise I wouldn't have done that. But I went up put the barbed wire, connected all the lines, went up the tree to here. My hot's on the left, and my other line runs down to the gate there, comes down, same method, connects both caddocks, and eventually I'll have a switch on both ends over where the line comes down. And here's our enclosure. It's not finished. I do want to run a board in the middle here going that way, and what that'll help with is the bracing for snow more than anything. So it's going to just keep the bracing for snow, just kind of not let it bow in too much and then collapse in the winter. You don't want that. So an extra bracing here, and we'll put some boards on the outside going all the way around to stop the rain, cold drafts and stuff going through. Yeah, they're pigs that keep warm fairly easily, but that's not we just want there to be watertight. We don't want mold growing inside of there. We don't want ammonia or any other issues from being too damp and cold. We want a nice good dry spot for them, and this will be it. So they found their way to the path. Yeah. So what we did is we put this pallet fence up all the way up and around on the back side. Made a nice little bit of a path so they could walk through, and Big Mama's a little pushy. Aren't ya? Aren't you a little pushy? Yeah. You're okay. And then the girls can come back here and they just chowing down. Like meal time all day long. A little bit better than that dry hay, huh? Yeah. Yep. And being a new paddock, will come out every hour or 2 hours. I don't know. It's just want to make sure that they're good. Each day we'll check their I want to check their belly side, so we'll just flip them over and rub their belly, check their belly, make sure they didn't get any big scrapes or cuts from branches and twigs, stuff like that. That might be overdoing it. I mean, pig hide's really tough, but we just want to make sure that the babies are good. We take the best care of them that we can. Yeah, she's a good girl. She's a good girl. Will you just roll over for me? Yes, you will. Yes. Yeah. What we'll do is we'll just do a check your tummies, and then we'll check your feet. And let me touch them and mess with them. And you need a little bit of a trimming. Yeah, we've seen that. Hey, Big Mama. Hey, pretty girl. You want me to rub your tummy too? Oh, it's been a while. Yeah. All right, everybody's getting jealous now. Pig pile. Look at this. Don't step on her. Oh yeah, I love it when they do that. She's a good big mama. Yeah. You jealous, babies? Not really babies, but yeah. They'll be good. Lots of food. Just gotta keep checking on them. Yeah, she's like, okay, you're not gonna pet me. I'll just eat while I'm laying down.